What up, dog? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. But before we do that, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you know, hit the subscribe. It's free to you, but it mean a lot to me. I always go come on here and talk about the current events. Um, the Trey Nicholas story, and Ricky Smiley lost his son. But I figured why I want to change the tempo. I want to talk about some stuff that make people feel good. I mean, we got enough things, especially recently, that draw on that negative energy. So I wanted to put some more positive energy into it. So excuse me too. I'm getting over a cold, whole house sick, wife, both my kids. But yeah, I want to talk about some feel good stories. Some lessons I learned, and when I applied those lessons, good outcomes came. And one of the greatest teachers I ever had in life, was my grandmother. I was blessed with the time and the experience. You know, First 9 years of my life, she raised me, and then later on in life, mm, she moved with us up in Michigan. But my grandmother was, and I ain't saying this because it was my grandmother. It's just fact. She was a wordsmith. Almost everything she said had a meaning to it. And if you knew her, she talked a lot. But everything she said, it meant something, had a meaning to it. And one of the greatest lessons she taught me is what I learned later on. And it was actually a universal principle. It was the law of polarity, law of duality. I just remember coming home and asking her, what do the word ignorance mean? I think I was in like the third grade, and one of my teachers told me I was ignorant. And when I asked my grandmother, she asked me, well, who told you that? I told her my teacher. She said, why? And I said, because she was trying to tell me Christopher Columbus found America, but you told me, my grandfather was already here. So, he couldn't find something that people was already here on. And that's when she told me, she said, well, sometimes it's good to be ignorant, because when you're ignorant, you don't know. And that's what ignorant means. You don't know. So sometimes it's better not to know, because if you don't know you can fail, you'll never think about it. You'll just keep doing stuff until you get it right. So later on in life, I was dating this young lady, and she had a 5-year-old daughter. And her daughter had a heart complication from birth. So they had to take veins out of her leg to use for her heart. So the little girl never walked. And my grandmother, she was one of those ignorant people. Like when you tell her she can't do something, she found a way to make it happen. And that's how I am now, thanks to her. And when the girl said, oh, my daughter can't walk, I start standing the little girl up and helping her walk around the table. And a month later, she was able to pull herself up and walk around the table. Her grandmother and mother just cried because when the doctors told them that she'd never walk, that's just what they thought, that she'd never be able to walk. So they never tried. But when I got around her, I'm looking like, shit, I don't see why. So ignorance can be used in a manner of good, just like it could be used in bad. ignorance ain't always a bad thing. I mean, over the years, I just became ignorant to failure. When I got stabbed in my right pectoral muscle, my right chest muscle, and it tore through. And I'm not a little dude. I actually got a big chest muscle. You know, I'm blessed. But yeah, when I got stabbed, the doctor told me it ripped through my chest and the connective tissue. I won't be able to lift my arm above my head. So the day I lifted my arm above my head, the doctor was like, "Oh, that's amazing. It's a blessing." And I stuck my middle finger up to him, told him to fuck off. You know, without that ignorance, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I had to work my ass off for it, but I did it. Even with the condition I got now, I'm blind in my left eye. I have no peripheral vision in my right eye, so I can only see straight. And it broke me down for a minute. You know, it was a shock. You know, I go to sleep, can see out of both eyes. I wake up, can't see out of neither one. You know, but that ignorance, you know, I don't see as well as I used to, but I can still see a little. So I just use what I got. I just got to turn my head more, but it is what it is. What up, Chicky? You know, it is what it is, though. You know, with that lesson my grandmother taught me, I learned that the only limitations that we have is the ones we put on ourselves. The only limitations we ever have. The only reason we can't do something is because we tell ourselves that we can't do it. And even if you fail at something, as long as you learn from it, you didn't fail. You gained something. Failing is not getting nothing out of it. That's failing. When you receive something, you didn't fail. You learned. I remember my grandmother told me a story. One of my cousins always, you know, threatened to commit suicide. And one day she was on the roof of the house. And, you know, we had one of those houses where you can step out the second story window and be on the roof. And she was threatening to jump off the roof. And my grandmother said that she said, "No, I don't want you to jump. Let me push you." And she looked at my grandmother and said, "You go push me?" She said, "Yeah, I don't want you to go to hell. So let me push you." And she said she climbed back in the window like, "You crazy. You was gonna really push me." She said, "Yeah, I ain't want you to go to hell." And I asked my grandma, I said, "Why you tell me that?" She said, "Because you're always trying to help people. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help people. But if you keep helping people, they'll never learn and you'll begin to hinder them." And she said she always threatened to commit suicide, and I always felt compassionate towards her and coddled her. You know, and I figured out why she kept doing that because she wanted attention. So if I keep giving her that attention, she'll never get over the fact that the attention she needs is from herself. She said I'm hindering her. So instead of me showing sympathy, I said, "If she really want to die, let me help her." And that's what I learned. A lot of times we help people, and it is nothing wrong with helping people, but sometimes by helping people, you hurting them. Sometimes people got to feel that pain to learn. Sometimes people got to feel that loss to learn. Because if they never feel the loss, they'll never learn. They'll keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. So sometimes we can help people, and sometimes we end up hindering them. We stop or slow their progress. That's just like that old saying, I can feed you, or I can teach you how to feed yourself. Or I can give you the fish, or I can teach you how to fish. And you won't ever have to worry about nobody feeding you again. My OG had a lot of she had a lot of wisdom, and the crazy thing is I didn't really understand a lot of the things she told me until she passed away. And it seemed like when she passed away, everything she ever told me made sense. And I'm still trying to figure that out. Why did it take her to leave this earth for me to understand what she was trying to teach me? I still haven't figured that part out. I'm just happy I understand what she was trying to say or what she was trying to teach me. I think of my mother. When I think about like a lot of the females in my family, I learned from them. Maybe because I was raised. And when I say I was raised, I had the dudes around. I had my uncles, my pops. I had all these people around, but for some reason, it was the lessons that was from the females that impacted me the most. That made the most sense. And when I think about my mother, my mother used to always tell me, "Be careful what you say, because you can't take it back." She used to always tell me that because I mean, the person I am now is not the person I always been. It's not. I had one of the smartest mouths on the on the planet. I can dissect you with my words, just my imagination. Just like I talk positivity, my negativity was 10 times more impactful. I'm still learning how to be positive. Negative came natural to me. I don't know why. It just did. It was easier. I'm not gonna say natural. It's easier to destroy something than it is to build something. And I learned that from my mother. When you destroy something, you just got to tear it down. When you build something, you got to make sure it got a solid foundation. You got to make sure all the dimensions are not only accurate, but the base is stable to carry the top load. She used to always tell me, be careful because you can't take back what you say, and you can't. And that lesson, I'm living that now, especially coming on this app. I'm very careful of what I say because I'm just watching, you know, just watching different people and you know what, Chicky, I am blessed. I'm totally blessed. I was only able to experience my grandmother's. I had a step grandfather, and that man was amazing too. That man was amazing. But my two grandmothers, and they was like one was fire, the other one was ice. Like my mother's mother, the one who raised me, that was fire. My dad's mom, she was. Now when you talk about a holy woman, she never wore pants until she got older and put. She was placed in a nursing home, and the nursing home put pants on her. She never wore pants a day in her life. She never spoke ill about no one, and she loved God. She lived from the Bible. What up, Ryder? She lived from the Bible. So I was blessed. I was truly blessed to have some amazing women in my family, and that's another reason. Just my whole understanding of women. Um, I had great experiences with them. So, like, I seen the bad side, but I know the great side. I know how strong women are. I know how creative women are. I know how determined women are because of the women that I grew up under. And they say, "What up, Lovey?" And they say, women raising a man make a man soft, and that's not true. You know that is not 100% accurate, and maybe I'm that 99.9%. I mean, the 99.9. I'm that 0.01%, but I'm here. What up, Selena? But I'm living proof because um, I'm far from soft. I'm soft when it comes to dealing with delicate things, but don't get it twisted, because I'm a fucking lion too. You fuck with any of mine, there's no extent I won't go to. So, and I'm an emotional person, but I understand my emotions. I know how to control them, and I was taught by women how to control my emotions. So, um, that whole saying is garbage. You know, it do take a man to show a man how to be a man, but women can raise men too, and just put them around men. You know, to teach them what they can't. And that's what the women in my family did. They put me around men to teach me how to be a man, but I learned how. Um, I learned what to look for in a woman by being around the strong women in my family. I had good examples of what I want for a wife because of the good and amazing women in my family. Apologize, let me blow my nose real quick. And my bad. Still getting over this cold, but yeah, it's a lot of things that I learned from the women. You know, my mom, my grandmothers, my aunts. There's some things I learned from my dad too. You know, my dad, I played sports. So my dad used to always tell me to have a PMA, positive mental attitude. No matter what I did, always have a positive mental attitude, because with that, I'll be able to see the good that comes with the bad, you know. And without that, I wouldn't have made it to where I'm at. You know, this is my second marriage. My first marriage didn't work out. And, you know, I did some self reflection, and I learned, what up, Rellas? And I learned that you know, it wasn't all her fault. You know, a lot of it was mine because I accepted a lot of BS, and after a period of time, I got tired of it. But by accepting it, by accepting what I did in the beginning of the relationship, towards the end, I couldn't tolerate it no more, and I took responsibility for my side. You know, I took responsibility for allowing certain things, and by doing that, going into the marriage I'm in now, I understood. Just put the boundaries there. This is what I want. This is what I don't want. And if you can accept that, then we can rock. And me and my wife, like I said, we don't argue. I ain't gonna lie. We done had some heated discussions, you know, but we never argued. We never fought. You know, she understand when I walk away, let me be. When she walk away, I let her be. You know, because we sat there, we created boundaries. You know, even though we married, we understand how each other function, how we operate. And, you know, just having that positive mental attitude, I'm able to look at and accept the things that I do wrong, take accountability from it, and learn from it. You know, I learned how to make peace with my ego, you know, because a lot of times, anytime we get into it with somebody, even if the person is 100% at fault, we still have to look at, well, maybe if I never associated myself with this person, or maybe if I never put myself in this environment, this wouldn't happen. And just looking at it like that, you'll prevent the same thing from happening again. Because a lot of times when stuff happens, it don't even be our fault. We just be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But if you keep going into the wrong place, you gonna keep getting the same results. You know, and just having a positive mental attitude, even doing this YouTube thing. You know, when I first started, my first probably 5 or 6 videos, I had no one in the chat. I'm lying. Lovey was in here. Lovey was in here for my first probably 5 videos, just me and Lovey talking in here, you know. And now, you know, I think I'm a YouTuber because there's 5 people in here. You know, y'all be having my chat banging, and I'm so grateful for that because just seeing y'all right in the chat, that's motivation. But if I didn't have that positive mental attitude, I probably would have quit a long time ago. You know, I mean, at some point, if you doing this, if you putting time into this, you want to be monetized. And watching them numbers, grow slow, I'm cool with that because I'm building a foundation. I'd rather have some cool, good people to watch my videos, to come rock out with me when I go live, and have a bunch of people, stirring up chaos. I'd rather have a solid foundation. I don't want people coming in here because I'm blasting people or talking negative. I want people to come in here because what I'm saying make them happy, make them smile, make them think. For all the positive reasons. That's why I want people to come rock with me. And I know it's gonna take time, especially to get 1,000 people like that. It's gonna take time, but that's the foundation building. I learned that from my mom. Build things slowly. That way you can build it the correct way. Take your time. What's that song? Take your time, young man. Yeah, that should take your time. Perp, what's good, Perp? Hey, hey, Perp, put your link in the chat. Man, if y'all never heard this woman voice, I swear I be going to sleep. She read on her channel, Perp read books, and I put my earphones on and just listen to her voice to go to sleep. I promise you, it's soothing. I promise you, it's soothing. But yeah, I didn't learn. I learned from a lot of people. Like even right now, I got 4 mentors, and I'm telling you this: if you ever thought about doing something in life, put yourself around the people that's doing it. I got 4 mentors right now that I speak to at least 3, 4 times a month. And I was told that from my grandmother. Always put yourself in the place or around the people where you want to go or what you want to be. And I always did that from an early age. And I was blessed. Like I said, I was blessed to be around my grandmother. That's why I was able to experience the things that I have and obtain the things that I have. And it ain't much. It ain't probably no more than what nobody else have. But it means a lot to me. You know, um, it means a lot to me. But we have to put ourselves in those positions. I put myself if like when I went into real estate. I know Keller Williams is everywhere, but my broker was like one of the baddest brokers in Michigan. He the one when the Detroit Lions get new players. He the one who he only deal with millionaire clients. And the one thing he told me that was probably goaded, or he said, "Don't ever chase the money. Let the money chase you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, how the money go chase me in real estate?" And he said, don't act the part, be the part. He said, just always be 100 with people, always be genuine, always be yourself. And that way, you'll never have to act. And I was blessed. When I was doing real estate, I was getting married, and we had to come up with 50,000. And I did that in 3 months, just by being genuine, telling people the truth. I told people like, look, the first, the most expensive house I ever sold was 500,000. It's like 570 something thousand, almost 600,000. And being a new real estate agent, people want somebody with experience. And when I met the client, I'm like, look, this is my first. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I promise you, whatever I don't know, I got people around me who know, and I'm gonna get it done for you. And the lady looked at me up and down. She was like, just because you being honest, I'm gonna sign the contract. I helped the lady find a house in 2 weeks. My commission off of that one house alone was almost like I think it was like 17,000. That's because they was taking like they took 35%. They took 35%. But shit, I ain't never got no $17,000 check. So I was geeked. And then she told me about her friends. I had a when I first started doing life insurance, it was this lady. She lived 30 minutes away, older white lady. And when I got to her house, I wasn't even supposed to sell her life insurance. I was selling her health insurance. And when I got to her house, she couldn't find her purse. So we spent probably about 30 minutes looking for her purse and couldn't find it. And then she got a phone call. Well, she actually went to this meeting that was not too far from where I lived. And mind you, I just drove 30 minutes to her house. So she asked me, can I take her? Because she didn't feel comfortable driving. So I said, yeah, I take you. So we drove back down to the place. And on the way back, she said, I ain't eat today. You mind stopping at a restaurant? So we stopped at Red Robin. She bought me lunch. I'm like, cool. And when we got back, she was like, I'm tired. Can you come back tomorrow? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, just the travel time alone, I just wasted 2 hours. And I said, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. And I was just supposed to help her with her health insurance. And when I got back there the next day, she had three of her friends there. When I left that house, I made $4,000. You know, and a lot of times, especially when you work in commission jobs like that, your time is precious. But it's why you do the job. I did the job to help people, and that's what I did for that lady that day. And I probably would have made $20 if she would have had her purse. I probably would have made $20 off of just switching her health insurance plan. Driving her back and forth, doing all that, and then coming back the next day, I walked out of there with 3 racks. A lot of times, our blessings ain't given to us right away, you know. But that's when they say you reap what you sow. So why not sow good seeds? Why not put that positive energy out there? You go get negativity. That's given. But the more positive you put out into the universe, the more you go get back. And sometimes it don't even bless you, it bless the people around you. But that's still blessing you. It's so many I've learned in life to always be appreciative to what I have. And don't worry about what I don't have. Eventually it'll come. And it always have. It always worked out like that way for me. Because a lot of times we focus on the things that we don't have. And then the things that we do have start slowly fading away. And then when we look back, it's gone. I had a when I first started real estate, it was another broker in there. He'd been doing it for like 30 years. And he was like married to the job. Dude barely left the office. And one day, because he had pictures of his family on his desk and everything. And one day I was just joking with him, like, bro, why you don't never go home? You don't like your family? And he looked at the picture and he turned it around and he said, I would go home if they were there. But I worked so much and all I wanted to do was provide a good life for my family. But the money blinded me. Chasing the money blinded me. And now, they gone. So it's all I got. So that's why I'm here. And he told me never to forget why I do the job. Never forget. He said, if you're doing it for the family, always make time for the family. And when you first start something, you're hungry, especially commission-based jobs. So that's what I did. I was just grinding, grinding, grinding. And, it was times, that was before I was married. And my wife would tell me, like, Well, when am I going to have time? She only had to say that one time. And once she said it, I recognized what I was doing. Even now, doing this YouTube thing, you kind of got to look at, I can't just come on here and make videos. I got to look and see what's going on. So the other day she was like, "You on YouTube too much." Okay, I understand. You only got to say it once. If you really got somebody in your corner, you should always show them how special they are, how much they mean to you, how grateful you are to them. Because, no matter how long you with somebody, you should do that every day. I do that every day with my wife. I let her know how special she is. I let her know how much I appreciate her. Because, just because they're in the house with you, don't mean they're in the house with you. You don't give somebody attention, somebody else will. And that's just raw fact. Especially when it comes to women. If you ain't showing your appreciation, your gratitude to a woman, somebody else will, another dude will. It's easy. The hard job ain't getting with a person. The hard job is keeping a person. How can you be innovative or creative to keep that person around? Now, everybody want to feel special. Everybody want to feel love. And it's not hard. I've been with my wife now going on 12 years. And it still feel like we newlyweds. And that's probably because we was friends first. Perp, you do that. You come in here every day. Every time I'm on YouTube, you make me feel appreciated. I appreciate you, Perp. I really do. I really do. You said I came, into your life in a special time. You came into mine. My wife appreciates you. If she was up right now, because she told me to, start the show before she go to sleep. And for some reason, when I rub her feet, she go right to sleep. So she in there knocked out now. But yeah, it's easy. In my opinion, it's just easier to show people love. It's easier. And we don't do that enough. But that don't mean we can't start. And that's why I kind of wanted to change the tempo, because with all this death around, we don't speak enough life. We don't speak enough life. I wanna do a show about that 18-year-old governor. I want to do shows about people, just normal people doing good things. It ain't got to be nothing great or significant. Just feel good stories. We don't got enough of that. Even when I try to come on here and talk positive, it's always something negative I'm trying to speak life into, trying to find a positive way to look at things. But it's so many positive things that happen and don't get highlighted. Little kids graduating college before the age of 14, 15. That shit is amazing. They don't get enough play. It's not enough airtime for them. But they doing it. My sister, she just got her PhD from the University of Michigan. And her first year in Michigan, and in her first year, she had her first child. And she didn't know how. She gonna kill me for telling the story because she writing a book. But her story is fucking amazing. And I got to watch it. She had her first child. A couple years later, she had her second child. 2 years later, she had her third child. It didn't stop her, it didn't slow her down. She still graduated with honors from the University of Michigan. She got a degree in psychology and education. I seen every struggle she had. But she had the ignorance. We share the same grandmother. She had that ignorance. You wouldn't go tell her she wasn't go get that damn degree. You wouldn't go tell her she wasn't go become a doctor. She did it. She ain't let nothing stop her. She ain't let nothing stop her. And it's things that slowed me down and stopped me. So many times we hear stories about people having kids and not being able to finish school, and a lot of times they don't have the support to do it. She was blessed. Her husband is not even the father of her first child, but he met her when she was pregnant, and he assumed the role while she was pregnant of the father. So he was there helping her, support her. We rallied around her. Whatever you need, we here. And she accomplished it. And to me, like I said, you know, I might be a little biased because that's my little sister, but I watched her do something that a lot of people can't do. People don't finish high school because they had a kid. She graduated from one of the prestigious colleges in the United States. And she showed me. She is one of my biggest inspirations. When I look for strength, I look at my little sister. That sounds crazy, but it's true. My wife got sick after she had her C-section. She had fluid. She was retaining fluid, and it got around her heart and lungs, so she had to go back in the hospital. My little sister's daughter was sick, but she came over here because I had a newborn. She came over here and stayed the night with me to make sure I was straight, me and the baby. Then the next day, my other sister came over. So my family, I'm blessed. I never sit up here and deny that. I am truly blessed to have the family I got, and I show them the appreciation because even though they family, they ain't got to do nothing for me. Don't nobody owe me nothing, and I know that. So when people do stuff, even when people say hi, I show gratitude because they don't have to. Don't nobody have to be nice. We see what type of world we live in. So when people are kind to me, I appreciate it. I was always told to be grateful for the things that I have, no matter if it's small or big. Just be grateful because there's other people who don't have that. And I grew up with people. All my family is in Pennsylvania. It's only me, my mom, my dad, my sisters up here. That's my blood. I got cousins, but they on my stepdad's side, and they family to me because I grew up with them, but they not blood. And sometimes people they show you that. So all my family down there. So the only support system I ever had was, and my dad just recently moved up here. So only support system I ever had was, women. My girls. My stepdad was that's a whole nother story. I ain't gonna speak negative on nobody. He got his own demons. But yeah. So growing up in Detroit, it was a culture shock because I'm from the backwoods. I'm literally, it's in Pennsylvania. It ain't down south. But I was literally in the backwoods. I'm used to swinging from vines and playing in creeks, catching crayfish and fighting them, chasing wild turkeys in the woods, and then like a group of them bitches come chasing you. I'm used to that. So when I came to Michigan, to Detroit, it's like the concrete jungle. That shit was like a culture shock. Like I didn't even know what gangs was. And so I had to turn into a wolf. I had to change my whole personality. We the first neighborhood we moved in, they called it Baby Vietnam. I had like 4 or 5 houses on the whole block. It was rough. Gunshots was lullabies. That was just something you was used to. You ain't wake up unless you hear something hit the window. I mean, it was one night, you just feel glass hitting you. You realize damn bullet came through the window. And I'm the only dude. Like I got my stepdad and his family, but It was kind of rough. So, you do things where you feel you have to do to survive. And now that I'm older, I realize that, I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed to make it through what I did, because a lot of people didn't. So even life now, I don't take it for granted, and I understand how precious life is. Not only mine, but everybody else's. Everybody's life is precious if they know it, or if they don't. It really is. Everybody don't utilize it like that. Um, but that's lessons they gotta learn. My grandmother always said, "You ain't gonna be shit if you don't go through shit," and I went through a lot of shit. So now, I just look for peace. I just look. I try not to put myself in environments where I can't positively affect it, because whatever you don't influence eventually will influence you. I had to learn that the hard way. I try not to. I don't judge nobody. There's no point. Cause me pointing my finger and judging somebody, it don't make me feel better. So why do it? It don't do nothing for me. So I don't do it. I just try to understand people and see if I can, if I honestly, and I hope I don't sound ignorant, but I just, if I can't tolerate people, I just don't be around them. There's no purpose of me being around a person I can't tolerate. And that's like they say, is about who you like, and it's true. You know, I mean, I ain't gonna deny it. I ain't gonna act like it ain't true, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. We all have different likes and dislikes, so why shouldn't I be around people who I like? And if I like somebody, and they do something wrong, and I understand the person, yeah, I'm gonna ride with them. If a person willing to take accountability for the things they do, why not? I ride with them all day. I'd rather be with people who fuck up and be like, damn, I fucked up. Let me learn from this. Let me grow from this. Than around people that just don't think they shit stink. You know, we all make mistakes. We all have a past. We all can learn. You know, so that's what I try to do. I appreciate you, Perk. That's what I try to do. I just try to learn from my mistakes and learn from other people's mistakes. You know, I I see so many times, especially um, like the older people. They think because they've been on this earth for a long period of time, they can't learn something new. My mother humbled me. My mother got her master's degree in nursing. She had a forensic science degree. My mom a bad woman, and she tell me all the time. She listened to my video. She just listened to me talk. She said, I learned so much from you. I'm teaching her spirituality and universal laws. And that humbles me when my mother says she learned something from me, because I'm constantly learning from my mom. But that shows me that it's a choice. People choose not to listen to people younger than them. That's a choice. That's not something set in stone. That's not a way of life. Even my mentors told me, like, they learned from me too. And that's humbling, because I'm coming to you for knowledge. But that showed me too, that taught me a valuable lesson, that you can learn from anybody. It's just, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to take the time out and actually understand what people are saying to you or trying to tell you? Are you humble enough to listen to someone else's perspective? Can you do that? And a lot of people can't, because, like I said, a lot of people like to think their shit don't stink. And all shit stink. I don't care what. I don't care how much perfume you put on your ass. Your shit is gonna stink. You know how I don't know if y'all ever heard of is this place that people like to think is called Shambhala. It's from the Hindu beliefs. It's like this utopia where everything is just peaceful. You know, the plants, the animals get along with the humans. It's like a utopia. People like to think about that. And I was always told anything that someone thinks has either existed or it currently exists. And I believe, I guess you can call it heaven. I believe at some point, um, yeah, perfume ain't covering that up, bro. But I believe at some point that we all can get along. I guess that's a hope. You know, at some point that we all can get along. I don't think it's what happened in my lifetime, but I got hope for that, and that made me feel good just thinking about that. And that's what I created in my home. That's what I'm trying to create on here. A place where people just come in and they can let their guard down. They can be goofy, you know. They can laugh. They can be vulnerable and not feel like somebody go take advantage of them. You know, because me myself, um, it's hard for me to be vulnerable around people because I've been hurt. You know, I think we all have at some point. You know, you let your guard down, and then people stab you in the back. But I believe it can happen. And in my home, with my immediate family and friends, people call me, and my best friend, he called me, and he be saying some of the outrageous shit, asking me some of the outrageous things, and I laugh because I know he's that comfortable with me that he feels like no matter what he tells me, I'm not gonna use it against him, and I never will. I never will. It's no purpose. I know so much about people. That's why even when I come on here and tell stories, you might hear me say, "Well, I can't tell a specific story because it doesn't just belong to me. There's other people involved." You know, and I never do nothing to break nobody down. I mean, sometimes you do have to show people a mirror, and if you care about them, you will. You know, you have to show people. Like I have to tell my wife sometimes, like, look, this is what you're doing, and it don't look pretty, but you have to see it because if you don't, you'll keep doing it, and eventually it's gonna hurt somebody. So sometimes we do have to do that. You know, they call it tough love. I had to do it with my little brother. My little brother right now. I'm excited because I didn't know how much time he was gonna get. You know, my little brother's a good dude. He just makes stupid decisions. You know, he doing Fed time right now, but he'll be getting out by the summer. So y'all go see him on here. You know, we've been talking about that, but um, yeah, when he come home, he coming home. He ain't going back no more. The last time he came home, you know, I didn't even know he was on the run. He was up here chilling with me, and he found out he was on the run. And he went back home to turn himself in, but they caught him before he turned himself in. So he started doing the right thing, you know, and it hurt my heart because he told me like the only reason he doing the stuff that he do because he watched me do it. He was trying to be like me. And I kept telling him, why don't you be like me now? Because I'm not doing none of that stuff no more. I stopped playing around in the street. And he finally took that lesson because now he want to come home and do real estate. So I try to, like now I try to set an example. When I was younger, I didn't do it. I just did what I wanted to do. A lot of stuff I did, I ain't even have to do. I did it to fit in, and I can admit that. I didn't know how to be a leader. I wasn't strong enough to be a leader, even though I was a leader. That shit crazy. You know, not tooting my own horn, but I have an addictive, and that's what I had to learn. I got an addictive personality. Like for some reason, people like to. I say when I was doing the wrong things, I made it look fun, so people wanted to do it too. Yeah, I just do crazy shit. Driving down the freeway on the wrong side of the freeway. Somebody say something piss me off. I do donuts on their grass. I can't tell you. Yeah, I can. I guess I can tell you. What up, James? Um, okay, don't do this. Don't ever do this, and don't ever tell nobody. I guess I can't say it if I don't want you to tell nobody. Okay, so I had these neighbors, right, and they pissed me off, and I was one of them people. When you piss me off, I wouldn't bark. I never barked. I never yelled and screamed at people. I used to just do shit. And my neighbor, I had a basketball room in my backyard, and the ball went over the fence, and I guess he got tired of me coming over there. So as I'm on my way over there to get the ball, the guy bust my ball and threw it back over the fence. And it pissed me off so bad, I put kerosene in the light bulb and knocked on his door. And when he turned his porch light on, the whole fucking porch caught on fire. Whole fucking porch. I used to do shit like that. Like, you piss me off, I'm gonna make you pay for it. I was an evil little bastard. That's why I say I can't judge nobody. That's not even the worst thing I ever did. That's why I say I don't judge nobody, man. And I always give people the opportunity to change or to evolve because I did. If you meet some people from my past who probably hasn't been around me in the last 10, 15 years, they'll tell you I'm the spawn of Satan. Like, don't piss him off because they say if he start giggling and smiling and walk away, fear for your life. That's what people used to say. Like I said, I wasn't barking, I wasn't yelling, I wasn't go scream at you, I wasn't go do nothing. I just, okay, you got it, and walk away. So I know if I changed, shit, anybody can. It just has to be a desire. None of the stuff I did that was negative, it never made me feel good. It made me smile for a minute, but it never made me feel good. I always felt worse. It was like I was adding on to the bullshit I already had when I did something bad to someone. I was just adding on to what I was already dealing with. Just adding more shit on, more shit on, more shit on to regret. And that's something else my grandmother taught me. Ooh, excuse me. I didn't get the lesson though until I got older. I didn't understand what it meant. And it was so simple and plain. She said, she used to tell me, never do something that you think I'll be disappointed in, or never do nothing that you'll regret later. And that's exactly how she told me that. She said, if you don't want me to be disappointed, don't do nothing that you think I'll be disappointed in, or don't do nothing that you will regret later. And now I live my life with no regrets. When a situation occur, that's the first thing I think. What would I regret more, doing it or not doing it? And whichever one I regret, that's the one I do. Because I refuse to live with regrets. It don't feel good to me. It don't feel good when I say, damn, I should have did that or I should have did this. I'd rather live with the consequences of doing something than wondering what would have happened if I tried it. I'd rather fail and learn from it than not try it at all. That's like even like when I first met my wife, like I said, we was just friends. And I'm in Michigan. And if Michigan got a big Arab community, Lebanese, Chaldean, Assyrian. And growing up in the hood, there's liquor stores on every corner. So I was cool with a lot of the Middle Eastern. But I remember I tried to one of the store owners, his daughter started coming to the store. She liked me. We was feeling each other. And I thought me and him was cool until he seen his daughter like me. And then they weren't having that. And he told me like, nah, we don't care if our girls marry white boys, but never a black man. I'm like, for real, bro? So yeah, they didn't like that. So when I met my wife, I was just cool, and I'm cool with people. I get along with females better than males generally. You know, my I got three best friends, two of them females. So when I met my wife, we was feeling each other, and she told me it was like she's like I like you, but I don't think my parents will approve. And I said why? Because I'm black. She said yeah. Now this story is ignorance. You know, this is a story of ignorance, and I told her like I ain't worried about them liking me. They gonna love me. And when her mother first seen me, her mother was probably about 5'3". She first seen me, she was like, "Oh, you're a big black man." I couldn't do nothing but laugh. I'm like, "Damn, for real?" She said, "No, no, you big and strong. Like, yeah, you big. You could protect my daughter." And I looked at her and said, "I told you she gonna like me." And the first day I met her dad, we was talking about very first question he asked me. He said, "Do you believe in God?" I said, "Well, I know the Elohim. I don't believe in anything. I have to know." And we talked about scripture all day. And he was amazed because her dad actually spoke Aramaic. So I knew some of the terms. I knew where his people came from. I knew their lineage. And he was amazed. He said, "Well, how do you know this stuff?" I said, "I study, I read." Our people, the Assyrian people, are the ancient Babylonian, Mesopotamia. Her bloodline comes from Nimrod, if you're talking biblical sense. And then I told her, I said, "So I guess we can get married now because your parents love me." So, and I was just ignorant because she reminded me so much of my grandmother and my mother. Even though she's not black, African American, Negro, whatever we are, whatever you want to identify as, she wasn't that. And to be honest with you, that's the very first relationship I had outside of my race. And like I said, we started off as friends. I never, even when we first started talking, being cool, I never thought, oh, this is gonna be the woman I marry next. It just happened. It just happened. Our blessings may not come in the form that we want them to come, but what they say, you never look a gift horse in the mouth. Everything I ever wanted out of a woman, that's what my wife is. I just wanted to be loved for who I am, not what I can do, not what I have, not what I know, but just who I am. I'm goofy. I'm all day, every day. I'm goofy. I know I get on my wife's nerves. I get on her nerves. I pick with her all the time. You know, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a friend, a friend, a partner, someone I can grow old with. You know, and that's what I found, and I'm blessed. The things that she taught me, the experiences that I had with her. I ain't gonna lie to you. Thank you, Selena. I appreciate it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Um, I'm from the backwoods in the hood. I never thought in a million years I'd be going to a damn Renaissance festival, dressing up like a medieval pirate. But fucking around with my wife, it's fun. You know, it's fun, and hopefully, in the future, my kids get into it. But I never thought in a million years I'd do it. But that's what life is about, experiencing new things. And until we try it, we don't know if we like it or not. And that's what my wife really showed me. Like you know things, right? You will know things, but you won't apply those things sometimes. Think about how many times somebody asks you to try a food. You never tried it, but it don't even sound good. You be like, nah, I'm straight. But then you try it one day, you like, oh shit, this is good. That's what life is. I won't put myself in a position where I get hurt trying something, but I'm gonna try new things. We put ourselves in these boxes, and by putting ourselves in the boxes, we limit ourselves. We limit ourselves. Like one of my students, well, I start training her in self defense, and she took it to a whole nother level. You know, she bought the is a circuit called Pride. It's like UFC, but it's a smaller company. But she make her debut in April. And I started training her 7 years ago, and I just trained her in self defense. She took that and started learning different martial arts. And this was a girl who used to get abused by men. Her last two boyfriends, beat her, and that's why. And I worked with her at the hospital, and she asked me. She learned that I did self defense training. She asked me, "Can I train her?" And I said, "Yeah." And now she about to become a professional fighter. That shit is amazing to me. That shit is amazing. So the only limitations we truly have is the ones we put on ourselves. We put ourselves in these boxes. Like even um, like when I talk about spirituality, if we understood, think about this: you have enough electricity in your body um, to power a city. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. You have enough electricity. What is that used for? What is it truly used for? We even call ourselves humans, but we much more than that. Much more. And I know a lot of you feel it sometimes, that you're more than what you was told you are. This is why we seek um this is why we seek God, for understanding, for clarity. But even the Bible states that my people will be destroyed for lack of knowledge, not faith, not belief, but knowledge, knowing. it's cool to believe in things, but it's just better to know. And to know you we have to go seek the information, and not only get the information, we have to apply it. Like I hear so many people talking about just even the Bible, but do we actually apply those lessons that's in the Bible? Do we truly understand what faith is? We all like to say we have faith, but when things happen, do we question God, or do we look for the lesson to be learned? Because that's what faith is. When things happen, not to waver, but to understand and learn. And I used to always question God. Why would you let this happen to me? Why would you let that happen to me? I pray, go to church, I do all these different things, and yet I still suffer. And then one day I heard this voice that said it was a choice for me to suffer. And I ain't understand that. I literally heard a voice that said, because it's your choice. Because I wasn't learning. Those are trials and tribulations we go through, and they're there to teach us, to show us too how far we came and how far we have to go. Even the recent things that happened is to show us how much more improvement we have to make as a people. The George Floyd, the Tyree Nichols. That's to show us we still got a far way to go, because even the people who protect us is hurting us. There's a lot of improvements we got to make. And unfortunately, people lose their lives. But for their sacrifice not to be in vain, we have to learn. And if we don't, it's gonna get worse. I mean, we can honestly say what we just witnessed. In my opinion, it was worse than the George Floyd. It was hard to watch someone take their last breath because it's a knee on their shoulder. But as a black man in America, it was 10 times more harder watching 5 black men beat another black man to death. Just my personal, that was harder to watch. And that shows we have a lot to work on. And it's not just gonna take just the black race, it's gonna take everybody to fix, because it's just not us who's in this fight. If we look through history, no one has came in support or to help the black race in America. No one. NATO, no other country, no one has came to help us. But that don't mean that we got to sit around and wait. We got to do it ourselves. We got to do it ourselves, and hopefully, when we start doing it ourselves, other people look up and realize their mistake and not helping us a lot sooner. I think that can happen. But back to the feel good stories. So, I was just thinking about, I waited till I was 36 to become a father. And that's because, my dad got 6 kids by 4 different women. And I learned from my dad's mistakes. My dad always told me, um, do what I say, not what I do. And that's an old cliche, but that's another way to learn. I'm not saying that's the best way. I'm not saying that's the only way. I'm not saying that that should be the way. But when somebody tell you that, take heed because they telling you from a vantage point of them messing up. And if you watch what they do, you'll make the same mistakes they do. But if you listen to what they say, you can avoid those mistakes. And that's one of the biggest things I learned from my dad. He told me to take my time and be selective in the women I choose to lay down with. And that's what I did because he didn't. Pops didn't. But he was telling me from his mistakes. And I ain't gonna say I was choosy with who I laid down with, but I was choosy who I gave my seed to. I never. It was one girl who she told me, she was pregnant by me, but honestly, I don't know if it was mine. But she ended up. She told me she was gonna get an abortion, so I gave her the money. And a couple months later, her mother called me and told me that she had a stillborn. So I'm like, what? I go up to the hospital and I said, I thought you had an abortion. She said, well, I took the money and figured I wanted to keep the baby. And so when I get back to the hood, one of my boys, he pulled me to the side. He was like, don't even, I was sad. It fucked me up. That kind of fucked me up. And one of my boys, I ain't even gonna say my boys. I said one of my associates pulled me to the side and said, bro, don't even sweat it because I think it was mine. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, man, I was banging her too. But I'm pretty sure it was mine. And I said, well, why you say that? He said, because when you gave her that money, me and her went out of town and she said it was on you. And that's when she told me she was pregnant. And I'm like, okay. And after that, I was very cautious and careful. You know, that woke me up. And everything happened for a reason. And I believe the creator. I don't believe in. Um, I believe the creator uh, gives us opportunities. But ultimately, I believe that we have everything that we need, and it was gifted to us from the Creator. But the Creator do gives us opportunities. I do believe in that, and I believe I was given that opportunity to understand that everyone is not worthy of my seed, and I should be selective. And I watch so many of my friends go through situations with baby mamas and baby fathers. And I don't know what the future holds for me, but I know I'm gonna do everything to keep my family together. Everything, everything humanly possible, I'm gonna do. I sacrifice whatever I need to for my family. I know I'm willing to do that, so I have no doubt that me and my wife will be together until we call home. I have no doubt in that. But we all should be cautious on who we give our energy to, not just our body, but our energy. Make sure the person you're giving your energy to um, appreciates it. Not only appreciate it, but willing to give you the same amount of energy back. Because if they don't, you gonna be lacking. And it's so many times I invested so much time and energy into people and got nothing from it. Not a thank you, not even a fuck you, you know. And I learned that people will take advantage of you. They say that kindness is a weakness. People really do. Oh yeah, I dodged a bullet. And you know how big of a bullet I dodged, Perk? That same at the time, that young lady had one kid. Now she got four kids. Four kids by four different dudes. She got four kids by four different dudes. And two of the baby daddies got into it. One of them, deceased, and the other one is in jail for killing the other one. So yeah, I dodged the bullet. Ain't the word. Yeah, dodged the bullet ain't the word. I dodged a planet because I could have been one of them dudes in jail or dead. You know, because she was promiscuous. She was one of those people. I'm gonna cheat on you before you cheat on me. So I mean, you live and learn. I've been in. I made you have to be choosy. Cause I made a lot of mistakes with females, but I can honestly say this: I never dogged a female. Not that I was in a relationship with. I've been with women, and I tell them like we having fun. But when I was ever in a relationship, I was always committed, and I guess that's just like morals and values. Hold on one second. Where I put my tissue at? I'm drinking this dandelion tea. You got any mucus in you? That dandelion, some some lime, it'll get the mucus right out. But let me blow my nose real quick. Perp, you said she for the street? Nah, she for the freeway. Nah, no disrespect towards her. Um, I'm only gonna speak positive on people, but yeah, she I actually seen her like 5 years ago, and it was crazy because her daughter ran up to me and hugged me, and I'm looking like, who the hell is this little girl? It was like a 13-year-old girl ran and hugged me, and I'm like, who is this? I ain't seen her daughter since she was like three or four. And her daughter ran up to me, and I'm looking. She's like, "You don't remember me?" And I looked up and seen her mama, and I looked down again, like, "Damn, you done grew up." I always date when I was younger. I think that's because I always dated women older than me, but I always dated women with kids. my my cousin was like, "Oh, you one of them ABC?" I'm like, "What is that?" I already no. What do you say? Already made family dudes. I forget how he used to say it, but he used to say, I'm one of them already family made dudes. Like, I want women with kids." And it's like, nah, it's just that's who I end up choosing. And he was like, "No, that's who choose you because you a sucker." And I'm like, and come to find out, every woman I dated with kids took advantage of me. Every woman I dated with kids, some way, somehow, always took advantage of me. Um, just because they know I had a good heart. And this is the reason I say that. Because every time we broke up, it wasn't the fact that they go miss me. They always use their kids. Or what did you go tell, the kid? Or how do you think the kid go feel? It wasn't never like, me and you. It was always about the kid. And I realized like you was using me in the first place. Because the first thing you thought, that's not my kid. So what do it matter? Well, you build a bond with them. I build a bond with a lot of people. We can still be cool, but I'm not with you. But now you're trying to use your kid to get me to stay with you. You wasn't with me for me in the first place then. Maybe that's why I was so good at babysitting. Because I used to babysit people, kids. Yeah. But I always respected women. I never took advantage of women. Never dogged a woman. Never tried to dominate a woman. Never did that. Never felt the need to. But dealing with some of the women that I dealt with, I understand why dudes act the way they do. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying I understand why a lot of guys act the way they do. Dealing with the women that I dealt with, but I guess that's a blood. Like it never hardened my heart. I guess I can say because if it did, I wouldn't be with my wife. You know. So if anybody ever listened to this and I'm in a relationship where it's not healthy or it's not positive, and you get out of it, don't take that with you. Leave it where it's at. Don't take that baggage with you because if you meet the right person and you bring those experiences with you, you gonna miss out on an experience that you miss out on a good experience. By putting that baggage on that next person. And I'm blessed that I never did that. What up, though? Hey, Perk, do me a favor, cause I ain't on my phone. Can you put this sophisticated problems child link in the chat? Hey, I'll give you a wrench, bro, when I get back on my phone. When I get my phone, I got it on the charger right now. But can you put his link in the chat? That's facts. That's his new channel. Y'all do me a favor and go sub up. Yeah, James, bro. It was like I can honestly say that, it was women took advantage of me, my good heart, but if I would have heard myself, I wouldn't have found my wife. You know, if I would have heard myself, I definitely wouldn't have found my wife. David, hey, put Dave's in there too. Do me a favor, Perk, put Dave's in there too. Y'all go sub up to Dave too. But I learned a lot of lessons. I learned a lot of lessons from the street too. A lot of things that I still use to this day. I learned to listen to people. Because eventually, a person will tell you not only who they are, but their intentions with you if you just be patient and listen. I learned that. And that was a very valuable lesson. I don't know if y'all ever heard of, and you can actually Google this, you know, it's called YBI, Young Boys Incorporated. My step pops and my uncle, they ran with them. So when we moved back to Michigan, when I say my family, these are the people who I was under. My uncle, when I was 12 years old, he gave me a psychology book and he told me to start reading. He said, "Cause if you gonna be around me, I need you to understand people, all the different types of people. Because you go encounter a lot of different types of people. You need to know how to deal with them accordingly." And I'm 12 years old. I didn't know what the hell he meant. And so I started learning about narcissists, and psychopaths. And when you reading it, I'm like, damn, I got a lot of these traits. You start self-diagnosing yourself, start looking at everybody else. And he said, "What did you learn out of that book?" And I said, "People are crazy." And he's like, "Yeah, that's why you got to sit back and allow them to tell you who they are. Just be patient with people. People will show you who they are. And I even do that today. That's how I learned how to listen. You know, I learned how to sit back and listen to people. Oh, no problem, bro. Hey, Perk, make sure you put A. I'm telling y'all, um, Perk got one of the most soothing voices ever. I literally put my earpods in and she read books, and I just listen to her read, and it rocks the baby to sleep. But Perk, make sure you say you was in the feds with some of them. Yeah, I'm waiting for my little brother to come home now, man. I can't wait till he come home. He said, "Yeah, when I get home, I want to tell some stories." I'm like, bro, you got the platform until you build yours. But yeah, he doing some fed time now. And say, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I never been convicted. I never been charged. Charges got expunged. So um, I was what they call a ghost. You know, I was what they called a ghost. So I was kind of blessed. I did it for reasons and seasons. And when that reason was up, I stopped. And when the season was up, I stopped. So I said like that. I was always blessed. And like I said, I had some great teachers. I had people who wouldn't allow me to fail. So that's how I escaped that portion. But yeah, I learned a lot. And you know what I tell people? The lessons I learned in the street helped me to become a better businessman. It honestly did because when you hustling, you got so many things to worry about. You got to worry about the police. You got to worry about other crews. You got to worry about your own people. But when you in business, you can just focus on what you got to do. I mean, you got competition too, but you ain't worried about nobody kicking in your dough. You ain't worried about none of that. You can just focus on making money. And some of the best businessmen are from the street. If you can make money while you dealing with the police, other crews, things, and your own crew, if you can make money while you doing that, you'll be 10 times successful in business. I promise you. And the easiest flip is life insurance. I don't know no other job where you get residuals. I get a check every year in February from what I did 2 years ago. As long as the people keep them life insurance policies, I'm gonna keep getting a check. And the more people I sign up in the future, the bigger that check go get. I mean, if you can find a way if you can find a way to make money without doing something, that's wealth. That's how you build wealth. And that's not even money making money. That's the time I utilized in the past to get me future income. And I learned that from my mentor. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's why when I get this like I don't really like to talk about I don't talk about things until it started. But before I lost my eyesight, I was working with my family on this nonprofit organization, and we was looking for grant money. But um, I'm blessed to have successful people in my family who are willing to help. Start a nonprofit organization, and it's helping people get back on their feet. People coming from prison, people coming from drug rehab, or just people who down on their luck. Giving them housing. I got a couple other people who I built relationships with, like carpenters, We go teach them carpentry skills, electrician, just teaching them different skills. Able to get licensed and work under them, helping them get set up, with assistance until they can get a job and making money. So that's my way of giving back. And like I said, I don't really like talking about. I already got the tax ID number for the company. It's a nonprofit organization, but that's what I'm working on now. Um, so I don't. I'm not. Yeah, I don't pat myself on the back or nothing like that. I just do the work. Because like I said, I had so many different people give me opportunities, and they always told me to play it forward. You know, if you able to give a person an opportunity, you don't have to. I was always told um, don't give anything to people but an opportunity, because with the opportunity they can make more than what you can ever give them. And I got a lot of I know a lot of hood philosophers, and I know a lot of successful people who spit game to me, and I never ask people for nothing but information or opportunity, because whatever they can give me in material is not more valuable what they can give me in information. It's all about what you do with it. All about what you do with the information people give you, how you utilize it. Like even when I talk about life insurance, I've been trying to put people on game. Like when my son turns 18, he'll have close to $100,000 accessible to him just from a life insurance policy. I'm only paying $45 a month for it. But that $45 a month when he 18 would be 88,000. If he hold that until he 30, he'll have over close to two. I think it's like 165,000. If he hold it till he's 65, he got close to $300,000 off $45 a month. The reason I got into life insurance, I was helping somebody buy a house, and she cashed out a life insurance policy and bought a $300,000 house. And that's what put me. I didn't even know you can do that. No one taught me that it's living benefits with life insurance. No one taught me that. I've never been exposed to that until that day. And when I learned that, I'm like, hold on. Like when I retire, it ain't nothing but 165,000, because the the older you get, the more expensive the policy get. But like with my son right now, $45 a month, that ain't nothing. We pay. I pay more. I pay almost $200 for me and my wife phone bill a month. Now I pay $368 for her car note. $45 a month ain't nothing. I do my daughter's next month, but I'm gonna up hers. I'm gonna up my daughter's because women's are cheaper than men. And I probably add another policy to my kids. That's how we build um, generational wealth. That's a way. That's one form of building it. And these are things that's not taught. That is the opportunity, Perk. And you do just listening to people, a lot of times, like if you like my people call me Dr. Phil, because for some reason everybody come to me to talk to me about their problem, and I just listen. And a lot of times, if you just sit there and listen to people and let them talk, they end up coming up with their own solution. But see, that's the problem. A lot of times when people come to people with problems, they don't listen. They just think they know the answer, and try to give them an answer. Nah, a lot of times just listen. And doing that, just listening to somebody. You don't know how. Sometimes people just need to get shit off their chest, and you just sitting there listening. That's more helpful than solving a problem to them sometimes. Because, like I said, sometimes if a person talk enough about their problem, they come up with their own solution. I do that shit all the time. Anytime I have a problem, I go right to my wife and just start talking, and then I'd be like, "Never mind, I figured it out." That shit is precious. Just listening to somebody, and a lot of times they solve their own problems just by talking about it. Oh, bro, yeah, nah, thank you, man. I mean, bro, like I said, like I've been, like I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've been watching you for a while, and I was like, man, this dude a nut, man. But then the more I watched you, I'm looking like, nah, this dude's something special. And to be honest with you, bro, I don't think even if you say you troll, I never you. This is one of my philosophies in life. You can't be mad at how somebody react, especially when you cause an action to make them react. You can't determine how somebody respond to something. You can't do that. And a lot of times when people was fucking with you, you just showed them why they shouldn't fuck with you. That's all. You just show people why they shouldn't fuck with you. And bro, like man, the way you be breaking shit down, the way you present shit, that shit be it be real. But man, bro, you got that flair, that comic flair too, man. That's why when you say your shit gonna reach 1,000 subs, I already know, bro. I already know your shit go hit 1,000 quick. Yeah, we definitely on the same wave with Perp. That's why I say, man, I feel I fucks with energy. Like I really feel energy with people. I really see shit in people. Um, that can't be seen with the naked eye. It's not even I see it, I feel it. And I've learned how to go. It's not even a gut feeling. It's more of a, I guess you can call it intuition. Like I be feeling like I feel is I'm trying to think of it in in biblical terms because most people know the Bible. Um, I guess you can say I can feel people's soul. I guess that's the easiest way to say it. But yeah, I feel people's soul, like the true you, like the potential people have. I guess you could say it like that. I can feel it, you know. And if that potential is pure, and what I mean by pure meaning good, you know, if that potential is good, I rock with them. I appreciate y'all rocking with me tonight. I ain't been on for a while, but I'm still getting over this cold and my nose keep running. But I'm gonna jump off here. But y'all know what it is, man. It's the word. Do me a favor if you're listening to this, hit that like for me. If you new, hit the subscribe. And if I say anything that resonate with you, do me a favor, hit that share button. Help me spread the word. But that's all I got. Um, Ryder, Perp, Facts. Who else was in here? James rocking with me tonight, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you coming through. Hey Ryder, I wanna link up with you and do we can do it on your channel or over here, it don't matter. But I wanna talk about some of the issues that you see in schools and see if we can come up with some solutions. Just bounce some ideas off of one another. I've been thinking about that because my nephew is having a situation in school right now where you know he getting bullied or they trying to bully him. And he about to get into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I told my sister it's a lot safer to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu just for the simple fact that he can restrain people instead of fight them. But I'm gonna teach him striking anyway, so he's straight. But I want to link up with you and do that. Um, I don't know if you got um, I don't know if you got the information to the Discord. Yeah, I don't know if you got the information to the Discord, and I ain't got my phone. I can't put it in the chat. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely. Do you put? Can you put your email? Well, no, don't put it in there. Um, no, your email on your page, right? And I send you the link to the Discord so you can get in there, and then we can set up some stuff. Yeah, we got a Discord where if the content creators, if y'all wanna link up with one another and create content together, we meet in there and schedule it. So Scorp in the house. Scorp, what up, though? You came in right when I was getting on. Yeah, if you can grab the link. Yeah, if you can. Yeah, I give you a sec. Grab the link and throw it in there. Yeah, because we got the. It's in my email. Craig sent it to you. All right, yeah, link up on there, and you can message me through there, and just let me know when you're available. I mean, I know I be going on late, but if you give me a time, I can ask my wife for permission. I'm talking shit, but no, you give me a time. Yeah, we can make that happen. Talk about how we go create it because just with your experience, um, you know, with your experience, what you've been through, the insight that you have, dealing with the situation, with your son, I think that'd be helpful to people. Get them a better understanding of how things are and how things work. I don't even know what the hell how to use that. I don't know. I be going. I be. I think when I hit like live chat, I think I be sitting in there thinking like, oh, this is gonna bring people to it, but it don't. I think I gotta send out a message like, hey, I'm in here. Come in here. So I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's an easy way to message. It's just easy to message. Like me and Perk message through there all the time. I got to pick with Nate all the time. So I pick with Nate through the message part. So it's just an easier way for us to message. I mean, I got Instagram, but I don't even know how to work that. I don't really do social media. I used to be into it, but I'm like a Buddhist. I seclude myself when my head ain't clear. I kind of um, go revamp and go into seclusion until I'm okay to be around people again. Yeah, that shit weird. So that's what I wanted to ask you too. Even though I don't live in your state, I can still sign it. Is that how that works? Because I definitely sign it, and I get other people to sign it. Um, you know what, man? Everything is good and everything is evil. It just depends how it's utilized. Anything can be good and anything can be evil. But yeah, I definitely sign it, and then I put it on my I actually put it on my personal Facebook. If people can sign it from anywhere, I could put it on my personal Facebook too, and I can get a ton of people to sign it off of there. Yeah, you know what? And that's not a bad idea. But I was talking to my sister because she do consultant work for schools, um, and she said something about like they was trying that here in Michigan, but I guess the teacher union pushed back on it because they said invading the teacher's privacy or some shit like that. And I'm like, that don't make sense. So I know in Michigan, well, in the region she at, um, they fighting that too because they want cameras in the classroom, and I don't see how that's evading the teacher's privacy. Like, what the fuck is you doing that's private when you're around all these kids? I don't understand that. That don't make sense to me. But she said that's one of the biggest hurdles that the teachers feel like is evading their privacy. Oh yeah, yeah. It is full of narcissism, Instagram models, and see, I never. I'm not a lustful person. Like you can't. I'm more impressed by someone's mind than their body. You know, I'm one of. I guess I'm. What my wife's sister, my wife's cousin called me a unicorn. She said because you like opposite of what normal guys are, and I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you don't get enticed by women's bodies. I'm like, that's an addition, but if you can't stimulate my mind, I don't have. I can't really be around you that long. Like if you don't make me think, it's hard for me to. Um, it's hard. It's just hard, I guess, to keep my attention if I'm not thinking. Like I don't know. I'm weird like that. Yeah, we do got to make a stand. Yeah, I mean we eventually. I mean because our kid. You know what, too, Ryder. This is my thing too. Like, cause I'm not sending my kids to public school. I'm not sending them to private school. I'm a homeschool, but I like the idea of like I like Dr. Umar Johnson's idea, but I don't really. Okay, I ain't trying to. So, um, when he said he was looking for a school in Detroit, I was actually one of the real estate agents he talked to. But when he found out, I guess I don't know if his people or somebody looked on my Facebook page and seen me with my wife, he refused to work with me. Right? Um, no biggie or nothing like that. But from that day, um, I seen other people who created schools and had some of the same programs. So I was like, if they did it, he should have been did it. I say it like that. That's just how I felt. But I love his ideas because what he's teaching is things that he was talking about financial literacy, gardening. You know, I think those things that can make kids self-sustainable when they get out of school, out of high school, I think that's key. So these government institutions, we call them schools too, but I think we need to create an environment for our children not only to be productive workers in the workforce, but just productive um, in general. You know, coming out of school, understanding finances, coming out of school. I think, me personally, I think some type of self defense should be taught in school. They do over in Asia. You know, them little kids be training in school too, in martial arts. That's a part of life is defense. And it not only teaches you how to protect yourself, but it gives you structure and discipline. It gives you confidence. You know, so I think it's a lot of. I think we need to take a lot of the power back that we have given up, especially when it comes to educating our kids. You know, I think we and is enough retired school teachers, is enough stay-at-home moms who can come together and create a system where we can teach our own, and that way we are in control. You know, because when we give them control, you see what happens. They start saying, "Oh, your child can change their sex, and we don't have to tell you." That's some of the craziest shit I ever heard. That that just proved my point that nah, my kids ain't going into the nah, I'm straight. My kids, I'm not giving my kids over to y'all. I teach them myself at home. And that's what I'm planning to do. My son, I do want him to have some experience with people, so I might let him do like kindergarten, but from first grade, second, from there, I might let him do his last year of high school in the school, just so he can be around like in that type of setting to have that experience. But ultimately, um, I'm straight. Most of his schooling is gonna be with me. But oh man, y'all be having me crying. Yeah, I have to. My mind is. I think too much on my own, and so if somebody talking to me and I'm not thinking, I just start thinking and won't even pay attention. That's my ADHD, but that's my superpower too. But I gotta, yeah. If you don't stimulate my mind, it's kind of hard for me to focus like on a conversation with you, because then I won't be quiet. I just start talking. Nah, you ain't alone. You ain't alone. I'm definitely gonna sign that up. I'm telling you because you know what? Like I said, we got it's a family. It's a family thing. We started a nonprofit organization. Me, my mom, and my dad. But originally, that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I was doing. At one point, I was mentoring younger kids, and teaching them self defense. I was about to implement archery because a lot of kids from the hood never shot a bow and arrow. So I was like, I want to expose them to new things, and exposing kids to things they're not accustomed to, that sparks the imagination, and the creativity. My aunt got some land. I wanted to take them out there and ride some four wheelers. She got horses. My step aunt, my sister's aunt. She was down for it. She's like, yeah, I don't mind. Um, and then one of the kids, their brother tried to set me up. And this is the type of person I am. Like I'm all about peace and stuff, but I don't take I don't take threats lightly, and I don't play with my life. And I just over my my time on this earth, I've learned to just the way I've been conditioned with the situations and environments I was in. I know for a fact that if you have a threat against you, it must be eliminated. There's no other option. So before I go to that extreme, I had to cut ties, and it hurted my heart to because I felt like I was helping a lot of the kids. And one of the kids I kept, mentoring him. He going to a HBCU. He went off to a HBCU. He about to graduate with his chemical engineer degree. So, um, yeah, that's dope. What up, Lonnie? Yeah, so he gonna graduate with his chemical engineering degree. So I think that's dope. That's the one kid I kept. Because he was the one who actually told me, like, they gonna try to rob you. And I'm like, trying to rob me? Like, yeah, when you get to your house, they go stick you up. Like, no, you're not putting no gun on me and thinking it's gonna be cool. So, I end up cutting ties, and he was crying. Was like, I never should have told you because, you know, I never experienced these things before I met you. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I kept mentoring him, and now um, next year he's set to graduate with his chemical engineering degree. So I'm happy, I stuck with him. Um, but yeah, I tried that, and maybe if I had more people with me, um, and maybe I shouldn't let one bad apple. But like I said, I'm willing to help, but I'm not about to sacrifice nothing of mine to help nobody. That's just how I am. And like I said, once I feel threatened, I don't take threats lightly. So it was like before I go to an extreme and lose everything, I'm gonna just cut my ties. And that's why now I said I focus more on the adults, like people who need help getting back on their feet. That's why we got the nonprofit organization structured for like people who getting out of rehab centers and out of jails, helping them get on their feet. And like I said, working in the hospital, I ran into so many people who had bad luck, and was living on the street and had nowhere to go, but they was good people and they just needed an opportunity. And that's what we trying to do is just give the people the opportunity. If they take it and run with it, good. If not, then we try. But that's my thing. I'm gonna just try to help people like that. Yeah. And this you'll be, I say it like this, you just if you want something, just leave your eyes open to see the opportunity. If you really want to homeschool but you have to work heavy, keep your eyes open. Maybe the opportunity come where you can make the same amount of money or even more money from home while you homeschool. You never know. But when you have a desire like that, just keep focused on that desire and look for the opportunity, and it'll come. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing though, because the steps that you're making, you are having positive change, and there's gonna be more people to come and tag along and rock with you. Oh, Riders brought you here, Lonnie. I appreciate you coming through. I'll be over there on your page, Lonnie. I'm a bush watcher though, but yeah, I rock with you. I always hit the like when I come in the room. And right, that's another thing too. I wanted to talk about putting start introducing the youth to like politics and different things other than entertainment, especially in this inner city, because eventually to have effective change, we have to put people in positions that reflect our needs and desires, and that's our youth. You know, if we really want to make a change in this world, we have to be the change. And the only way we can be the change is to put ourselves in the positions that can effectively make the changes. If we keep going to be basketball players, rappers, and stuff, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, those are not positions that you can make changes. Like when LeBron speak out about something, what do they tell him? Shut up and dribble the ball. Why? Because that's what he is. He's an entertainer. How does an entertainer go effectively make change in the world? That's how they're viewed. You're here to entertain, and that's it. But if we start developing lawyers and judges and politicians and physicists, people who actually are in positions to make impacts and make changes in the world, then we start seeing our what we desire and our needs reflected. But until then, Nate, the motherfucking great, what up, brother? But until then, if we don't hold none of these positions of power, we always gonna be asking for change or asking for something. So I think we should start introduce, and if I'm not saying if a kid ain't good at sports or entertainment, I'm not saying don't let them do it, but we have to start introducing these other things because we don't know if our youth are interested in it unless we expose them to it. Like I didn't know nothing about a nurse anesthetist or anesthesiologist until I start working around them. Because if I did, I would have went to school for it. Because the shit is amazing. It's like um, I don't know if you ever saved someone's life, and I don't know if that's like I don't know. Maybe I'm a narcissist, but working in the hospital, I did CPR 37 times, and I successfully um, brought people back 35 times. I only lost two people. I actually massaged the heart too, and brought a guy back to life. And it's no greater feeling than that I have personally experienced, other than having my kids and being married, than helping someone, um, than saving somebody's life. I mean that feeling, and the person the next day look at you and say thank you. I have the opportunity to be with my family because of you. Like that shit is humbling. I mean, um, so yeah, exposing our kids to those positions, even doctors. It's not enough black doctors, not enough Mexican doctors. Hispanic doctors. It's not. We need to put our children in the positions. Well, I ain't gonna say put our children, but we need to be in the positions that can make effectively change. Because I'm probably gonna talk about that one day. And I can't speak for every hospital, but working in the inner city, there's a lot of people who come in there for the money and not for the love of helping people. And so the healthcare is poor. It's fucking poor. I used to get in arguments with people because this guy, is a bum living on the street. You want to take your time? Like, nah, give him his meds. We need to run his labs. Well, he ain't got no insurance. So what? What they got to do with us? We still get paid. We get paid fucking hourly. So if somebody come in here and needs something, guess what? Just because they ain't got insurance, they ain't got nothing to do with us. Fuck the doctors. That's how the doctors get paid. We get paid hourly. So I don't care who has insurance or who not. I'm not gonna push somebody to the back. And they tried to do that. They used to hate me because I was one of the most vocal. Because the hood the hospital I worked at was the hood I grew up in. So a lot of these people I'm familiar with. If I don't even know them personally, I see them around. I have seen them around. So even if I don't know them by name, I know them by face. And when they see me, their eyes light up. Like, damn, that's somebody familiar. They're gonna help me. And you got damn right, because that's my job. I'm here to help. And that's when I start, changing my life and turning my life around. So I still had some of that dog in me. But it was like that was the way I repented. That was the way I looked for salvation, was helping other people. And I don't know, maybe a little part of me still feel like that, you know? Nah, man, nobody care about that. This Planet Fitness over here, judgment free zone. Hey, Platty, uh, you are life. You are life. I don't know if I did a video. Maybe I was thinking of it, but um, I say like this, I had to get rid of my old self to make room for my new self. So ultimately, I had to kill my old self to give life to my new self, and that's what you're doing now. It's a process, though. It don't happen overnight. Just like when we talk about building that foundation one stone at a time. And that's what you're doing. I see it in you. And like I said, when you first start this journey, you go take a couple steps forward, then a step or two back, and another couple steps, and then eventually you ain't gonna take no steps back, and you will keep going forward. It's a process. Just like learning how to ride a bike. You started off with the training wheels. You're in the trainer wheel mode right now, but you moving forward. You moving forward. All right. You tickle me, man. And we all here. And we all here, man. Yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking out with me. I'm black. I was supposed to end this like 30 minutes ago. You know how black people be like, all right, I'm about to go home, and then they still be there an hour later. I'm telling you, Middle Eastern's worse, and they take like 3 hours. They say bye for like 3 hours. I'll be like, damn, I done took a nap and woke up, and they all still here. Get y'all ass out of here. But that's how I do with my wife's side of the family. When they say bye, I hit the stop clock. Like, okay, they said it now. 3 hours later, they'll be gone. Oh yeah, you can do it. You can definitely do it. You can definitely do it. But first thing you got to do is stop saying you can't do it. First thing you got to do is stop saying once. Oh man, y'all have me. Oh man, but you got to stop saying can't. Stop using the word. My dad. Anytime I said can't, he used to make me do 50 push-ups. Anytime I said the word can't, like if he listened to this video, he gonna get on my head. I was not allowed to say that word. My father did not allow me to use that word. Never. I could never use it because he said can't mean you won't try. You know. So yeah, you got to stop saying can't. Next time you say can't, um, and I'm not sure I can do it is equivalent to can't. Okay, that's equivalent to can't. You just use more words to say can't. So next time you say it, you owe me 50 push-ups. 50 push-ups. Lawyer. Well, Craig ain't got a job, do he? I don't know if I want Craig to be my lawyer though. Maybe we should get Liz. Where Liz at? Yeah, I don't know if I want Craig to be my lawyer. If Craig be a lawyer, he start preaching a sermon. Don't make Nate choose violence. Please don't make Nate choose violence. But yeah, let me get off here because I hear my daughter getting up. Then my wife about to get up, and I think my son just got up. Yeah. But hopefully, Nate, I ain't looking at the chat no more, bro. I refuse to look at the chat, bro. Oh man, I love you too, Patty. We in this together. We all in this together. We building something nice over here. Nate is the general. You know, I'm just following his lead. But yeah, we got a nice little circle. Yeah, she might be a singer. She hitting high notes already. Now it's gonna sound like my wife smothering her. That's the boob going in the mouth. I I swear it sounds like you be smothering. Yeah, let me get out of here before my son wake up. I appreciate y'all rocking with me though. Let me do my outro again. Nah, I ain't gotta do it again. But like I said, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Blessings to everyone and all. Appreciate y'all watching it. And as Nate say, shout out to the replay game. But it's the word and I'm out.